Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, they're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Buck.
I'm dancing Pete Rodda.
And you're in for a great hour at least
Whoop,
of
whoop.
good stuff. We've got a good lineup for you. We have Dr. Adam Cayot from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care talking about something you've probably never heard of, PSSM.
P what?
We've also got Bob Haight from United Way with us. We're going to talk about the Charity Classic. Pretty excited about that. Then on the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the Horsemanship Extravaganza with Valerie Buck, who is joining us. And then we'll have all sorts of other goodies for you. Before we wrap up the show, lots of tips and important things that you need to know. Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to start out with some news and mentions. You know what day we just had?
Groundhog's Day.
We did. And that was February the 2nd. And Phil said that we get...
He got scared and he ran back in because he saw his shadow. So,
He did.
So that means...
That means 6 more weeks of winter, supposedly.
In Florida.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, sorry, up north if you're listening.
Sorry, up north, that's right. We are in Florida, by the way. We do.
It was
broadcast
almost
from
80
Florida.
degrees today, so keep seeing that shadow.
I was sweating
Yes,
today
ma'am.
for the first time in a couple of months.
My horses are shedding.
They're like, hey, it's springtime, right? So anyway, we won't listen to Phil too much here.
That's right.
Because I don't think he knows what he's talking about in Ocala, Florida. Hey, speaking of being really hot, I was hot and out of breath this past Saturday.
Did somebody go chase you at the 5K?
Well, no, I'm going to tell you all about this. So this was for Foundation of the Horse, which is a 501c3, so it's a great fundraiser. And they do this every year at a vet clinic, an equine vet clinic in the northwest side of Ocala. But Peterson Smith hasn't been involved in the past, so as much as I think it's a great cause, I have not been there. But Peterson and Smith jumped in, and their entire team did this
Wow.
this 5K. And I have never done a 5K before. Kylie, I don't believe, had ever done a 5K before. And I told her afterwards we should have started with a 1K, if there is such a thing as a 1K.
It's not even a...
I don't even think it's the thing. But there should be a 1K for people like Kylie and I, because we had quite a time. I'm going to defend us because we actually left last. We actually weren't the last people to leave.
And you were the last one to finish?
No, actually,
Oh.
we were not. Believe it or not, we were in the backish, but we were not the
We were
last.
in the backish.
We were in the backish, but we were not the last. I'm just going to say we were not. However, I will say that when I realized that all the experts, the fit people who do these 501ks all the time, were already on their way back when we were still on our way out. And I actually saw some people I know who run these 5Ks all the time, and they were already passing us to go back before we got to the U-turn mark where you turn around. And I thought, this is going to be embarrassing because everybody's going to be back when we get back. And we're going to be the last people across the finish line. And they're going to say Louisa Barton and Kylie May from the Horse Talk Show are the final finishers. And I said, we can't let that happen. So I started attempting to run. And I had to keep stopping to walk for short periods because I'm not fit. And I'm just going to tell you that my little bucket of goodies here that I got from my wonderful Dr. Natalie Solomon that has all the CBD goodies in it. The CBD roll-on is not in here because I've had to roll it all over myself. And it's a wonderful little goodies here for Valentine's Day if you want to treat your loved one to a nice bath ball that you can explode in the bath.
Bomb.
Bomb. And vegan gummies, CBD gummies. And then there is a wonderful face cream that's not in here either because I use it every day. And then I've been rubbing the CBD all over my poor sore legs.
So get yours quickly because Lisa will have all of it gone.
Because I need every roll-on there is. But I am going to tell you today, which is Tuesday, this was Saturday, so this is the third day. The front of my calves are killing me and the front of my thighs are still killing me. And I'm okay if I stay sitting or stay standing, but if I get in a chair and try to get up.
So Louisa wants to thank Equine for
Yes,
all the good stuff.
Yes, Dr. Natalie Solomon, she makes the CBD on her licensed lab, on her own farm in Ocala, Marion County. So you know it doesn't come from overseas. You know exactly what's in it. Every single thing she makes there is independently tested. And she is amazing. And this makes a wonderful Valentine's Day gift, this lovely little goodie bag. And if you happen to run a 5K and not be able to walk, it'll be quite handy for relieving you of some pain. So, but hats off to Peterson Smith for supporting what is an absolutely wonderful foundation for the horse. And we'll try again next year, but we probably need to do some training in between.
Hey, it was 1K 5 times. That's all you got to think about it.
Yeah, right. I think I probably need to be fitter.
Yes.
So we are going to be talking to Valerie Buck about the Horsemanship Extravaganza, which is coming up on the 13th. And I don't know who that guy is on the right. If you're watching us on the television, it might have the same shirt on.
No, it's a different shirt.
But it's a great lineup of some amazing horse folks that are going to really show you some wonderful horsemanship things that you can do with your horse. And that is coming up, and we're going to focus in on that with Valerie in a little while.
Very good.
There is a dog training clinic, and if you have a horse, you probably have a dog, and you probably want to train it, especially if you want to train your horse, you want to train your dog, right? So there is
Ocala Dog Ranch.
That's right. That's a great place to train your dog. There is a course coming up that you can take at the Ocala Dog Ranch.
February 8th.
Yep, with Brian. Check. I know how to say his name now.
Check.
Yes, you can sign up at Ocala.
It's a great way to spell it, isn't it?
That's 440 Southwest 110th Avenue, Ocala, February 8th. Sign up as quick as you can. You actually can do this professional gun dog and bird dog training, and he specializes in hunting breeds, obedience, teaching, and more. So get signed up for that. It should be a great experience.
Whoop, whoop.
What we got here, Pete?
4th Annual Warriors Gala.
Yes. February
28th from 6 to 9.
This is wonderful because this is for our veterans. And we love that. We do a shout out for Brian Weidmiller, who has that wonderful shop close to downtown there for all your diesels and horse trailers and all kinds of good stuff.
That's my mechanic.
He's my mechanic.
No, he's my mechanic.
And he is a veteran himself, and this is a wonderful way that you can support our warriors at the 4th Annual Warriors Gala. So get
And
signed
I will
up
be
now.
there. I believe you're going to be there.
I will be there too.
So come out and see us.
Hey, I wish I had better news on this. We have been following, sharing the missing horse from the Florida Beach Horses, our wonderful friends down there in Mayaca City. They have a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to finding Cloud, a horse that was stolen from them January 10th. We are still looking for this beautiful draft cross white mare, and we would love to have your help. So please reach out if you can help us, if you have any information for finding Cloud. We are coming back after this with Dr. Adam Cayot to talk about something you've probably never heard of, PSSM. So stay with us. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of the first half of the Horse Talk Show, Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And our television broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms. Also, thank you to our supporting sponsors, DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Piranha Animal Health, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, Ocala Dog Ranch, Wide Automotive, and Reach Video Production. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. At Florida HVAC Services, air conditioning is a mathematical process. There's no guessing in what size unit your home needs. Florida HVAC Services uses manual J-heat load calculations in diagnosing to guarantee your home is sized properly to control humidity and temperature, thus providing comfort all year round. With flat rate pricing, trained experts, and total peace of mind. For more information, go to flhvacservices.com. They are the air you breathe. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm dancing Pete Rodda.
This is Kylie Mabe, and she's our social media director. And if you have noticed all sorts of incredibly wonderful posts that they are created by her, well done, Kylie. Thank you. I also, by the way, left her in the dust on the 5K.
All right.
Are you sore today, though?
No, I'm not.
Oh, she's got you beat.
There you go. We have Kylie with us because she actually has a horse who has suffered with PSSM, so we're going to talk to her a little bit afterwards, after Dr. Cayot explains what all of that big wording
All those letters
means. Yes, here he is. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative, here with Dr. Adam Cayot from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and where it hits, otherwise known as horse shows in the sun. And Dr. Cayot is on hand here as staff throughout this season, and he is the veterinarian here for emergencies or maintenance or any kind of general health care you need for your horse. So that's wonderful, Dr. Cayot.
Yep.
We're going to talk about something we've never talked about before because I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to use the initials. You can do the rest. PSSM.
So polysaccharide storage myopathy. It's luckily we don't see that very often. So what it is, it's a genetic predisposition or genetic abnormality that some horses have, where they store too much sugar in their muscle, and then that as they work can lead to signs of tying up, stiffness, cramping. Some of them will act colicky, and you'll get that sort of thing. So typically it's tied to breeds that are a little heavier muscled breeds, but certainly warm bloods can have it, quarter horses have it, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of breeds that can have it, but you kind of typically see it in certain groups. Diagnosis is basically made by muscle biopsy. So you biopsy the muscle and you see, you can see that it has that genetic predisposition, and it's controlled by diet. So you want to make sure, since they tend to store their sugars abnormally, you want to make sure that what you're feeding them is low in sugar. So low in sugar, high in fat, higher in fiber, and that can help. Certainly it's something that you try to control. You don't necessarily cure it, but diet certainly is key to being able to manage it.
Is it something that a horse has periodically worse sometimes than other times?
Well, it can be. Yeah, certainly if they are a high stress situation, or they've been worked particularly hard, then you may see this. It's kind of almost along the lines of a HYPP kind of thing. It's not the same problem, but certainly no.
HYPP. What's that?
Hyperperiodic paralysis. So hyperkalemic periodic paralysis. It's a quarter horse problem that's been, it's passed down from
generation to generation.
Yeah.
Really?
So we'll talk about that another day. That's a topic for another day.
One. Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, the point being is so it comes as a tying up situation. So you'll tend to see it after excessive exercise or work, because then those sugars that are in the muscles start to burn instead of the sugars that are circulating in the blood, and you get that muscle cramping and that sort of thing.
It seems to me that a lot anyway of the topics that we've covered over the years, sugar has a great bearing on many things with horses, as it does with people. It seems like sugar's sort of the enemy at times.
Sugar's bad.
Yes.
There's nothing good that comes out of sugar. No.
Except the taste. I was going to say, the taste is a big thing.
Sure, seriously. I mean, honestly, that's the truth. And obviously, horses are eating plant material, which has natural sugars in it and that sort of thing. But when you get concentrated feedstuffs that put molasses in it that make it more palatable for them to eat, then certainly you're going to, these horses that have these issues are consuming more than they would normally in a normal, where they just basically have a forage situation. So you need to certainly be aware of that. And, but I mean, anymore, feed companies are well aware of these issues, and they, depending on what feed company you use, they generally will have a line that have options that, that will suit your horse. And that's what's so nice about it. It's not, it's not just oats and sweet feed anymore. There's so many things out there that
there really are.
Research has helped with.
The Seminole Wellness Safe and Light is what I've used with all my metabolic issue horses, and have found that to be phenomenal. And then there is that also, Seminole carries that wonderful forage, that's Equisafe forage, which is something you can let them have in lieu of another hay, and it actually gives them a hay and a lot of vitamins and good things in it as well. So there are some great options out there for horses that have problems.
Vitamins are the same thing as vitamins in the U.S.
Thank you for that that translation. That's your British banter word of the day. So PSSM is not something that you've come across a lot.
No,
it's fairly
luckily
uncommon.
Yeah, it's not very common, thank God. And usually, when it happens, I mean, obviously, horse ties up, and they a horse can tie up and not have that issue, certainly. But if you have one that tends to tie up regularly, then you probably ought to have that investigated and see.
That should be looked into.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Anything else to add to that?
I think that's about
That's it. Wrapped it up, huh? Louisa Vartan for the CEP's Equine Initiative and the Horse Talk Show here at HITS with Dr. Adam Cayot from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. I can't believe you didn't like the way I said vitamins.
What are vitamins? You mean vitamins?
That's right.
Okay.
Kylie, your horse Dolly.
Yes.
You've had this experience. You can share it kind of from a first-hand perspective of what Dr. Cayot was talking about. It was something that I had not heard of before. I mean, I've heard of tying up. Obviously, I've unfortunately experienced that with a horse, but this was quite taxing and trying.
Yeah, so we got Dolly as a 2-year-old, and she's 9 now. We had no idea that she had it at first, but then she started tying up a lot. So it was really, we were like, what's going on here? And
so it was regular tying up. So it wasn't even like, well, you took a break and then you came back to work and it happened, but it was just a...
Yeah. So then we found out that she has PSSM, and there's 2 types. There's 1 and 2. And 2, I'm pretty sure, is the worst kind. She has that one. So that's awesome. That was really great to find out. She was my show horse there. Showed her English and Western. And yeah, it was just a lot of adapting, especially with feed. Lots of trial and error. We had no idea. Right now she is on a alfalfa cube and beet pulp. That's it. We had to make a special stall for her. So it's like a run-in stall, and her entire pasture is grass-free, and it's just dirt.
So she couldn't eat a lot of grass because of the sugar content.
Yeah.
Because as Dr. Cayot mentioned, diet, very important.
Yeah, and it's gotten a lot worse as she's gotten older. It's affected her personality, and so she's kind of just a different horse in general now, which from what I've read can kind of happen.
Because she's uncomfortable.
She just is in pain all the time. And I think the last time I showed her was 3 years ago, and she shut down. Every time you put a saddle on her, she shuts down. So
Because she's uncomfortable.
because she's uncomfortable, and she tries. She tried for a really long time, but then it just got way too hard for her. So we decided to retire her.
So that was the fair thing to do.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was really hard, but because she was my show horse, but it was the right thing to do. So
A very difficult experience, and something that you even tried different things to try to help her, and so that you could keep her in work.
yeah, she mentally just blocked it out. We had a communicator out, and she was just like, "Don't ride me. I hate it. I don't want to be ridden." You can't even do halter with her anymore. Any form of work, she just shuts down
Because she knows her body hurts.
because she hurts.
Right.
Oh, but she'll play.
She likes
On
to
her
play.
terms, she'll run and buck, but even after that, you can see that her entire
You
sides
can see she feels it after.
just muscle spasms and trembles down, and so it hurts her. But
So she forgets it for a minute.
Yeah.
She's a horse for a minute. And
now if
then
she hurts, it's her own fault.
Now
not,
it's self-inflicted.
not ours.
Yeah. Now it's her just being a horse and then figuring out afterwards, ouch. Yeah. That
Yeah.
didn't. But she obviously associated being ridden with the discomfort.
Yeah.
PSSM, there you go. You learned all about it, and Dr. Cayot shared that with us, and from a first-hand perspective there. So we got to wrap it up. We're coming right back, and we are going to be talking to Bob from United Way about an amazing event that's coming up. I'm very excited about. So stay with us. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of the first half of the Horse Talk Show, Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And our television broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms. Also, thank you to our supporting sponsors, DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Piranha Animal Health, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, Ocala Dog Ranch, Wide Automotive, and Reach Video Production.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Buck.
I'm dancing Pete Rodda.
And we have a very special guest in the studio, Bob Haight from United Way. Thank you for being with us.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm just so excited that I got to meet you. We were actually at a CEP event at Haight, and you were there, came up and introduced yourself. And I was so excited to hear about what you've been working on. But before we get to that, let's hear a bit about you.
Well, I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio and have worked with United Way for about 40 years in my career in different communities. One of the communities I worked in was Alton, Illinois, which was the headquarters for the Olin Corporation in Winchester. Mr. Oland, his horse, Cannonade, won the 1974 Kentucky Derby. And every year at the bank in town, the Derby trophy would come out celebrating.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Mr. Oland was such an entrepreneur and always wanted to do things with excellence. And so the other part of that was he created a hunting camp called Nilo, which is Oland spelled backwards. And his dog, King Buck, is the only dog to ever be on a federal duck hunting stamp. So if you think about
Bill would like that from Ocala Dog Ranch.
yeah, talk about dogs and horses
right,
together.
yes.
But he was an individual that always strived for excellence in anything that he did. And winning the Derby was one of his goals. So every year we celebrated.
That's wonderful. So you've been involved somewhat in at least in the excitement of the horse world,
The
right?
excitement of it. It's been a great, career. And my connections to Ocala actually go back quite a ways. When I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, working as the United Way CEO, I was part of a professional roundtable, and an individual by the name of Tony James, Tom James's mom, was the CEO here of the United Way in
Tom
Marion
James
County.
is here with the CEP.
And we became very good friends over the years. So it felt like a homecoming coming to Ocala.
Tell us what United Way does for those of our listeners and watchers that don't know what United Way is all about.
Well, it's interesting. We were founded in Marion County in 1961 by probably a name you all know, Bonnie Heath.
Mm-hmm.
And
more horse connections.
More horse connections. Our community room is actually named after Bonnie Heath. What I like to say, though, our mission hasn't changed since 1961, but how we fulfill our mission has changed. And so our work is in three areas, what I would call the building blocks for a successful life. Education, and that's early education all the way to career development, to financial stability. And we do a lot of that work with some of our partner agencies in terms of food and shelter, but we also have a program called Strong Families where we're really trying to address generational poverty and moving people. One of our success stories in that program recently, we had an individual, she had been in domestic violence, had gone to one of the agencies, needed a fresh start, 4 kids, and she enrolled in the program, and we were able to get her housed. And her aspiration was she wanted to be a mechanic. And with the help of Career Source and others, she's now a mechanic at our Ford dealership and being very successful. And one of the things she talked about to all of us, people take for granted if you're a mechanic, you have to buy your tools, and they're expensive, and your work boots, and all those things. So our community came together and gave her a start. And why I like to say it's addressing generational poverty, because her kids are experiencing something different now.
Right,
and
different lifestyle.
I think we're breaking the cycle.
That's wonderful.
And then our last component is the area that we work in health. And one of the successes we've had there, working with Heart of Flora medical centers, our community partnership school at College Park Elementary, we now have a full dental program right at the school, a health program right at the school for their kids. So when you come to the school and you see the portables, United Way is doing that work right in our community.
So tell us what event is coming up, because you were telling me a little bit about it and I got excited because it's not like everybody else's events.
No.
Well, we've all been to a golf outing. We know how those run.
We do the golf thing.
When I first arrived in Ocala, I was looking for a signature event that fit with our community.
Horse capital of the world.
And when I was in Orlando, we did a chef's gala at Disney at Epcot, and it was very successful. How do you create something in this community that's unique to this community? And one of my colleagues, Nikki Tripodi, said, I've had this idea for years, and it's based off of an event down at Wellington. And their event's called the Great Charity Challenge. And so we started doing some research, and they were super to work with. So we put a little different twist on it. We're calling ours the Children's Charity Classic. Why did we settle on children? In our community, we're a community of wealth, but we're also a community of immense need. So 13% of our kids live in poverty. When we combine that with the ALICE population, asset limited, income constrained, employed, that's 51% of our households.
Wow.
So we decided to focus on children with this particular event. So the Children's Charity Classic will be our first part of the event. It's coming up on February the 6th. And the notion is we're now pairing a professional rider, an amateur rider, and a junior rider with one of the charities. The riders have all selected a children's book, and they will be in costume.
Wow.
Wonderful.
And so both the horses as well as the riders, and they'll be competing for the 10 different charities. And depending on how the team places is how much funding the agencies will receive. So with our sponsors, we're trying to assure that the top prize would be $30,000 for that charity at a minimum prize of $5,000. So we're looking at a prize pool, if you will, of about $100,000 for the charities.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well, we're hoping between now and February 21st, when we're having the event, that each of the organizations will pair with their equine team and through social media and other ways really promote their organization under the bigger umbrella of the Children's Charity Classic.
So you selected 10 charities.
Yep.
You're pairing up that team with the charity, and then they're all going to compete at HITS
Correct.
on the 21st.
21st of February, it's a Friday night. The main event will be from 6 to about 9:30. The gates will open at 4:30. It's free to the public. We are asking for a donation of parking at $10, cash donation
Very
at that
fair.
time.
Yes.
And you can bring your lawn chairs, you can sit in the grandstand. And then for our sponsors, there will be a VIP experience that we'll be having as well. In addition to the sponsorships, we have 8 different world trips that we're auctioning off. So Scotland, you can go to Iceland, an African safari, photo safari. So there's going to be a number of those types of things. We're also going to have an opportunity for a donation window. And then our friends at the Adina Club have given us a play and stay. So there'll be opportunities for those that are in the VIP area to support the charities as well.
In other ways.
Yeah.
So overall, just a wonderful evening of watching horses compete. Some of the top riders are competing. I noticed some great names in your list. So you've got some top equestrians competing for a wonderful charity for our kids, for the next generation, and making it a lovely combination with the horse capital of the world.
And then
how much better?
I also heard that you have a way to add to that money at the event, where if they give a donation for their favorite team, that it actually goes to that charity also.
We're doing on the peer-to-peer fundraising. So those that support the top charity, we have a $2,500 match. And then we have a $1,000 match for second place. And so we're trying to get as much of the funds. Right. We were very lucky. We had a generous philanthropist who is helping with all the expenses. So the events, dollars we're raising that night can actually get out to these children's charities that range from young children all the way to middle school and high school children.
This is incredible. Thank you. And people can find out more information, right?
Yes.
They can Google this and find out everything they need.
If you go to our website, it's uwmc.org, and there's a banner page for the Children's Charity Classic. You can actually see some videos from some people where Peter from HITS is talking about why HITS got involved. Amazing. And so there's a number of videos and different things there, but you can register for the event. Please do, so we have an idea of really expectation in terms of how many people will be joining us.
Thank you for being with us. I love what you're doing. We have to wrap it up. We love United Way. We're huge supporters at the CEP of United Way and everything that they do. Please help support this amazing event. Bob is awesome. I'm so happy to have met him. Thank you for joining us. And we'll come back after this. We're going to have Valerie Buck with us.
See you in a sec.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. DAC, it makes a world of difference. The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. Get noticed with eye-catching vehicle wraps that showcase your brand's identity and earn you more business. If you're looking for a custom-designed vinyl wrap for horse trailers, box trucks, cars, or pickup trucks, for a single fleet vehicle, or for 100, no job is too big for the Smash Wraps team. Make your appointment to set your business apart today. Find us on social media or at smashwraps.com. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton. She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
I'm Tick Maynard, and you're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Buck.
I'm dancing Pete Rodda.
And we have a friend of ours here in the studio, Valerie Buck. Valerie, thank you for being with us.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You've known Pete for a bit.
Just a bit.
A little bit,
We were just talking about their adventures. Dancing all night with dancing Pete Rodda, right?
Yes, fun. Out in Colorado. It was a good time.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I grew up in Philadelphia, not the horse capital of the world, but I was a horse crazy little girl, and I was lucky enough to have parents that found a way for me to have my little pony when I was about 12 when I got her. And out of high school, I went to work at the racetrack in Philadelphia, and I didn't want to go. And my dad's like, "Your mom got your job there, you got to go." I got there, and the first day I saw the exercise riders coming in off the track, and I was like, that's what I want to do. So I aimed high, and I went to work for Wayne Lucas, who was the top trainer in the country at the time.
Yes.
Good guy, Daddy
yes.
Wayne.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. So I rode Charismatic and Proud Citizen and some of the cream of the crop there, and I worked for...
Wait, Louisa now is excited. She's speechless.
Listen, if it's got 4 legs, I'm excited. Let's face it. But I mean, those are some big names.
Yeah, I went on to even more in Breeders' Cup and Kentucky Derbies, and I rode Super Saver and Rags to Riches, and my favorite was a mare called Fleet Indian. Yeah, but...
These names mean nothing to me.
So, but yeah, when you're riding those, it's like the paparazzi followed you around, so it can give you a little bit. Yes. But while I was there, it was, every horse I got on, I wasn't there for the horse racing. I was there because I loved horses, and it didn't matter how much money they made or how many races they won. I loved all of them. And
do you know how much I see that at the track? And people don't know that about racing. People say, "Oh, racing, oh," and I say, no, you have to go on the back side of the track and get around the trainers and the exercise riders and the jockeys and the grooms.
That's where she hangs out during the Kentucky Derby.
That's where I hang out at the Kentucky Derby. I'm on the back side, not the front side, because that's where the people who have the heart for the sport and the heart for the horse, and they love what they do. And they're in there scratching those horses' necks and butts and loving on them and baby peeled organic carrots. And, I mean, I've never been around a horse sport where I've seen as much.
We love the horses.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Valerie, why are you here to promote
So,
what?
Oh no, we'll get to that in a minute. Now we got to hear about this. This is interesting.
But throughout the years, injuries kind of took their toll, and I got tired of living the gypsy lifestyle. I never owned more than I could fit in my truck because you were leaving to go to the next place and the next place. And in 2009, I got hurt pretty bad, and that was the year I got introduced into the Pirelli world of natural horsemanship, and it changed my life. I went back to work at the track and got injured again, and I said, I'm done. So I helped start a local veterans organization in Saratoga Springs, New York. I supplied the horses to them, and while I was there, I saw how much the horses were enjoying their role in it, as well as the veterans that were coming through. But I wanted to help more people, and I wanted to help more horses, so I branched out and I started my own nonprofit called ACT Naturally. The acronym is Aftercare Continued Thoroughbred Training, and we transition thoroughbreds onto new careers, and we help people in need, women who are victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, veterans. We had a Gold Star mother that came, and it's some homeless veterans, but we've really changed some people's lives. The video that's rolling, there's a guy that his plan was to go home and commit suicide, and instead he went home and quit drinking and got back together with his wife, and they had another kid, and he went to college and just graduated from college, and he says he owes his life to that horse that day. That lady that just passed, she lost both of her sons to suicide after serving in Afghanistan. So these people need help, and so that's our goal. So our dear friend Donna Blem, who owns Evolution Horsemanship out in Citra, said, come, let's do this together. And I'm over the moon excited by our event that we have coming up, because Donna went out and asked a whole bunch of our amazing horsey friends, including Pete, to come and put on a Horsemanship Extravaganza. And everyone said yes. There they are. Everyone said yes. So it's 3 hours, but it is going to fly by, because you're just going to be wowed by everybody that's there and the performance that they're going to put together for us. We're going to have a silent auction. There's going to be a little bit of food. Tickets are available on our website, actnaturally.org. You can go to our Act Naturally Facebook page, but
and who's going to be there?
Yes.
More than just me. I know that's a big crowd jump. we got a few other people.
Linda Pirelli, Jesse Peterson and his family, Jake Birnbaum, Ryan Rose, and
Emily
and Avery. Emily Rose, Avery, and what's Avery's husband's name?
I don't know. I haven't met him.
Avery's husband's going to be there. There you go.
I bet it never said that before.
But active military and veterans are admitted free at the door with a military ID, and we hope to see you there. It's going to be so much fun, and we're just super excited about getting all these programs. I've been doing this in New York for 12 years. This is our first year. We're working with the Marion, or the Casa Marion, which is the domestic violence center here in
Is it
Marion
Patrick
County.
Sullivan? Is that his name?
That's Patrick Sullivan,
Thank
yes.
you. I
We
remember.
should have done a group rate for CEP partners and done the CEP meeting on that day.
There you go.
That would have been really a good one. We'd have got them all there.
Everybody. So yeah, it's going to be a good event. We're going to raise some money. Donations can be made to our website. As everybody knows, taking care of horses is not cheap. We don't charge the veterans or the any of our participants anything to come to our programs. It's all charity, and we get sponsors to help these people. So we're glad, and thank you for having us here to kind of talk about it and get the word out.
So February 13th.
3 to 6
3
p.m.
to 6 p.m.
Yeah. Bring a chair.
Bring a chair.
Bring a folding chair.
Bring a chair. There you go. Bring a chair.
I better bring a chair.
Bring a chair. You don't need a chair.
Oh,
You got a horse.
Busy. Yes. So you'll get to see these top professionals, very, very well-known, world-renowned folks doing some different horsemanship activities.
Some liberty and some just different stuff. Yeah. And Linda's going to talk about all the work that we're doing and all the support that we're getting from the people here in Marion County, which is wonderful.
Linda Pirelli is an amazing woman.
She is. A very strong lady.
Every time I have been around her, in fact, she was at our expo, our CEP, Equine Industry Expo, and every time I'm around her, if I was a horse, I'd be very happy working with me, because she has just got such a nice vibe about her.
Happy horse, happy
yes.
life.
Happy horse. And she even taught our stick horse dressage. I roped her into that one. She looked at me like, how did you get me into this? And afterwards she said, thank you for getting me into this. It was amazing.
Everything's always so positive with her. So, I told her my horse is doing, we'll fix that.
I know.
We do.
She's wonderful.
Fix it.
So one more time, how do we get tickets?
Act Naturally, ACTT, actnaturally.org, or on our Facebook page, Act Naturally. And we hope to see you there.
I think it's a great deal. Tickets are how much?
$50.
That is such a steal for all those top people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I believe so.
Thank you for the
Pull
work
some
you
education out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great way for people, if you're don't know about this, to come in and kind of wow you and maybe think about having a better relationship with your horse.
So be wowed, have a better relationship with your horse, and help an amazing organization help other folks who need it. We got to take a break. We're coming right back. We're going to have Sue Dyson with us. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of the second half of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet. And our television broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms. Thank you also to our supporting sponsors, Equine Performance Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence of Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, The Green Pharmacist, Horse Vans, Royal Blessing Rescue, and MV Equestrian LLC. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed.
Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Buck.
I'm dancing Pete
And
Rodda.
hey, weren't those a couple of amazing folks?
Yes, ma'am.
That are doing, like, I almost teared up with what Valerie was sharing with us, and these are both
because of the names of the horses.
That was pretty awesome too. We should have her on again and have her tell us lots of like racehorse stories.
There you go.
It was fantastic. But both of these events are things that you should get signed up for and get involved in, because both, if you can sponsor or if you can get involved or if you can buy a ticket, and just when we talk about these 501c3s that go above and beyond, I don't even imagine when Bob was talking about the statistics of the number of families who are actually living below poverty in our community, and he said it's a very wealthy community, and then it's not. You know, when you think about that, you don't really realize it in your everyday kind of life, you know, of how many people, and then you think without these organizations, what would these people be doing?
Right.
And so we're so grateful to folks that absolutely go above and beyond.
And our warriors that have defended our country, that live with all this for the rest of their life, and then these people come in to help them. That's huge.
Yeah, and the families of those people who have served in those bad situations, who've lost somebody as well. So our hearts definitely and our prayers go out to them, but I think that's just amazing. So we're switching things up now, and we actually have segment 3 of our wonderful opportunity to meet Dr. Sue Dyson, who is so full of information, and here she is.
Louisa Martin here for the Horse Talk Show and the Equus TV Network, visiting with Dr. Sue Dyson. Thank you so much again to John at Equus TV Network for the introduction. It's lovely to be here with you. You were just in England, in my home country, and you think it might be a little bit cooler here.
It was this morning,
It
certainly.
was this morning. It's beautiful now, but quite chilly this morning. We've been talking a lot about the connection between horse behavior and pain, potentially why your horse is unhappy, a lot about all the knowledge that we didn't used to have, and just even to hear that anybody would hit a horse or abuse a horse in any way when it was in pain is very troubling to me, especially in the world we live in now and the knowledge that we really have. And as I said to you earlier, I'm sure there are some rank horses, and perhaps it's from a prior abuse situation or whatever the cause may be. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of horses' problems stem from pain. And very difficult, as I mentioned earlier, for a veterinarian. You can't say to the horse, where do you hurt? And it can't answer you. So you have to be able to hear it in other ways. And to me, the empathy that you have, obviously, for a horse is key to being a successful veterinarian and obviously to being a successful equestrian as well. So ways that regular people who aren't veterinarians can actually have that same empathy. And I think this is lovely, harmonious horsemanship.
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that we can have a good relationship with horses. And the equine industry is getting a lot of negative press at the moment. And I think we need to be giving it an alternative spin as well and say that we need to recognise what is normal, and that's really important. And if things are normal, then it is really possible to have a truly harmonious relationship between us and horses. But that means we've got to understand how horses learn, understand the influence that pain can have on their performance and their ability to learn, and the influence that we as riders have on horses. Because I think that we have to think of ourselves as athletes. We are an important part of this combination. And if we are sitting inappropriately, or we are out of balance, or we are too big, then that's going to all of those things are going to have an adverse effect on the horse's performance. And the key should be to bringing everything together and bringing knowledge from all sorts of different disciplines. So the saddle fitter, the farrier, the horse person, the trainer, the rider, the physiotherapist for both the horse and the rider, the position coach for the rider, all coming together to try and establish a harmonious relationship. And with the book that we did, this explains about the use of the ridden horse pain ethogram, but also the film that we've just released, Horses and the Science of Harmony. I think both come together to show that it is possible to do this and to do it well, but it means paying attention to detail and knowing, for example, that horses see colours differently to what we do. They hear differently to what we do. And to understand better the both positive and negative influences that we can have on their behaviour through how we handle them. And we need to get away with thinking, this is a naughty horse, he's doing this deliberately. We need to be thinking, well, why is he doing that? What's the underlying reason? Can we circumvent that reason to do a better job so that when we apply a leg cue, the horse does respond as we want it to do? And so you have that magical feeling of you and them working together and doing everything so easily. And we see lots of pictures, I think, and video clips of rather coercive riding. And I think that we mustn't think that that is normal. We can do a better job than that, and we should be doing a better job than that.
I agree 100%. And one of the things I spend a lot of time is actually on the backside of racetracks for major races. And racing is a world that gets a lot of bad rap. And not to say that there aren't people who do things they shouldn't do, because the world is full of people who do that, sadly. But I do see the other side of that, and I do see a groom, a horse handler that absolutely love the horses. And I think the more knowledge that we have of the other side, behind the scenes, the better, because none of us want to see horse sports come to an end. And most of us love our horses.
Absolutely. And I think the top end of the sporting profession gets all the bad press, whereas in actual fact, those horses are generally very well looked after in terms of their day-to-day management, the recognition of lameness, because they know that they're not going to perform optimally unless they are pain-free horses. But it's the bottom end or the middle ends that we see much more bad things, but not because people don't love their horses. They're not doing things deliberately wrong by and large. They're doing it through lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. I was going to say that's probably the biggest problem. Yeah. That was my problem as a child, was lack of knowledge. I just didn't know. I didn't know my saddle probably didn't fit all of my ponies, one after the other. I just did what my riding instructor told me, which was what you were supposed to do. So it really is. It's lovely to see the research evolving and people like you out there who have both the knowledge of being an equestrian and being a veterinarian, putting those two things together with a really holistic approach to how can we make the whole horse well, how mentally, physically, and how can we have the best possible, most harmonious relationship with our horse. I'd love to ask you for our viewers how they can find out more and how they can get this.
This is available via Harmonious Horsemanship website. It's also available via Amazon, so you should be able to get it quite easily.
Wonderful. And then your information website and whatnot for more research?
For more research, the best resource is 24horsebehaviors.com.
Lovely. Yeah. And that's how they can find out all those. I was reading all of those last night. It's very interesting how many there are that I've seen in horses that have had behavior issues. So it's a good connector between the two. And as you said, lack of knowledge is the biggest thing. So the more you can learn, and what a wonderful person to learn from.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I thank John so much for the introduction and for me learning more as well. It's very interesting, especially looking back and now forward where we are. So
we both
incredible.
do that.
We do, don't we? Dr. Sue Dyson here. Very delighted to have met her and had a chance to chat. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and the Equus Television Network. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of the second half of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet. And our television broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms. Thank you also to our supporting sponsors, Equine Performance Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifencer Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, The Green Pharmacist, Horse Vans, Royal Blessing Rescue, and MV Equestrian LLC. Ocala Dog Ranch offers a variety of services for your dog, including agility training, barn hunt training, board and train, boarding long and short term, daycare, day training, dock diving training and competitions, disc dog, swimming lessons and pool rentals, lure coursing and obedience training classes. Check out Ocala Dog Ranch at ocaladogranch.com. Ocala Dog Ranch is your home away from home for your dog and more.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, also online at ttdistributors.com.
Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe for all your current barn needs.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hello, I'm Chris Cox, and you're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms. They're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
So, what do we do at the beginning of the last segment of the show every week? Ta-da! Dancing Pete Rodda's Tip of the Week.
Dancing Pete's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Complementary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal. Wildlife Works.
I need them. I followed an armadillo. In fact, he's been digging up my pretty grass for weeks on end, and then
the other night, I thought, well, I put a trap out with some cat food in it, and he didn't get in it. And I was quite upset that he didn't get in it.
You're going to get a skunk.
I was worried about that. That's what Billy said to me. Don't call me if you get a skunk, because I was going to call him, because I'm not going to pick up a trap with an armadillo in it. I was going to call Billy. So he said, don't call me if you get a skunk. I said, oh no, a pet skunk would be so fun if you could descent it. But the other night, I was on my way home and it was late. It was like 10 o'clock-ish or later, 11 o'clock-ish. It was late. And I turned into my gate and I went to go down my dirt driveway and it showed me the way home. It led me the whole way.
There you
and
go.
I thought if I was the kind of person that I wish I was, I would just run it over.
No.
But I couldn't. I can't kill anything. So it followed me home. It went straight under my gate and into my back of my yard where obviously it still lives.
All right. The tip of the week.
So anyway, if you have that problem, you need who? Wildlife Works.
Wildlife Works.
Because by the way, they don't go in traps to eat cat food.
Right. Okay, tip of the week. Use cones and markers to, one, support your focus. So what I do is I put a yellow cone or a blue cone way off in the distance for you to focus at. And then I put 2 gate cones for you to know where you want the horse to go through. So then the next color would have the next focus cone out in the distance and 2 gate cones. So if you run into the inside cone, that means you change your focus too early. If you run to the outside cone or beyond it, that means you change your focus too late. And that'll help you when you're riding.
So this is for people that suffer from ADHD like me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, people who are like, oh, butterfly, oh,
well, and
squirrel.
you'd be surprised how many people this will help with and their horse, because this gives the horse a physical reference to know, hey, we're going between these cones. And I usually stop them at them, skip a cone, stop the next one, and then get it to where you can get your circles going or your straight lines. Just helps you, and you learn how to start helping them when they get off by a half a step or a step, versus most people when they first do this exercise, they're off and they try to shoot it back into the cone at the last second, and I go, no, why don't you fix it right when it's about to take a step off and don't wait till the last second. So
these are nice too, because you don't have to carry big huge cones around, and you don't need big huge cones because you're only using them as a point of reference.
That's right. And they're different colors, so then that way you can change your focus and go to the blue cone.
For folks who are listening, not watching, these are probably about 7 or 8 inches tall, something
yes,
like that.
Ma'am.
They're nice and lightweight and easy to carry around.
And a horse can smash it and you're out at maybe $1.25.
So that makes sense. That's good.
So that's my tip of the week.
That would probably work for dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
Why not, right? If you're training dogs and you want a point of reference,
right.
that would work too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do they have the best training dogs in the world?
Ocala Dog Ranch.
Where else? Here is Neil. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. Give your dog a safe space in the house. If they like to use the crate, or even if it's just a room, give them somewhere where they can go and hide when you have company, or just when they've had enough of the day, especially if you have 2 or 3 dogs. Give each dog a little area where they can call it their own. Dogs do like crates. I mean, some people think they're cruel and inhumane, but you can make the crate into a nice little safe place, put a towel or a blanket over, somewhere dark, make it like a cave. Give them a chew toy or a puzzle that they can entertain themselves with. Just give them somewhere where they can run and hide when they've had enough of the day. Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch.
Safe space, I love that. I've had a lot of people say to me, and some dear friends of mine that love dogs, oh, you put your dog in a crate, or you put your dog in a pen, or...
Right.
Yes, because it's okay.
If you do it right, it can't be
Yes.
a punishment.
No.
It needs
No.
to be,
Yes.
hey, this is where you go to sleep.
Yes.
It's just like your room. Why do you have a room? Why don't
Right.
you just live in the living room with
Right.
everybody?
Exactly.
It's a safe space to go to so you can relax
Downtime,
and down.
rest, yes. And what's wonderful about it is if you have a dog who tends to chew things, or if you have a dog who's scared of lightning, or if you have a dog who's a puppy that's in training that might eat something that's harmful and you might end up having to have an expensive surgical procedure, your dog is also safe. So.
Or if you have a dog and you go to somebody else's house that don't allow your dog to roam their house, they can go to a place that they feel safe, even though it's a new environment.
Exactly. So I love that. I think that is absolutely fantastic. And speaking of Ocala Dog Ranch, we're very excited that they're going to be at Live Oak International with dock diving.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
This for the first time ever, March 13th to 16th. And Live Oak International is an amazing event, but to have Ocala Dog Ranch there makes it even more amazing.
That's right.
So we're very excited. So get yourself all signed up for dock diving at Ocala Dog Ranch.
March 13th through the 16th.
Yes. And now there is a special day also.
Uh-oh.
I know. Well, the co-founder of Live Oak International is none other than the top US carriage driver. And his name is Chester Webber, son of Charlotte Webber, of very well known of Campbell Soup. And we now have Chester Webber Day in Marion County. Officially on, I believe it's the 16th of March, is now officially Chester Webber Day. And Chester Webber does actually have a plaque downtown in Ocala. And if you walk over that plaque, an app will come up on your phone that tells you all about all of his accolades. And
his place was one of my favorite places we've done the Equine Initiative, because he got out there and actually drove a horse and did some dressage movements with the carriage. And he opened up his farm and gave a tour, and it was one of the best farm tours, and it was really nice.
It was very interesting, yes. Nice demonstration, and, you know, just giving me an idea.
Oh.
I love it when I get ideas like this. I've just been inspired.
Wait, the smoke's coming out of her ears. Watch out.
I was just thinking about we need a horse talk show calendar online on our socials and on our website that we can go in and add events to it, because every time we interview amazing people that are having amazing events in the horse capital of the world, they should all be on the Horse Talk Show calendar, especially if we interview them. They should be immediately plugged in so that you guys have a point of reference when you're listening, watching, whatever you're doing. And then you can go, hey, they said there was this event, and then we link it to the event on the calendar. Wow. So Kylie has another job now to work on when she's not training for 5Ks, so that she can keep up with Louisa.
That could be a moneymaker too, to sponsor.
Yeah, you can sponsor the Horse Talk Show
calendar.
Horse Capital calendar, yes, because we could have all these wonderful events.
Because I can't stand that. You're about to do something, somebody goes, did you hear they're doing this at WEC, or you hear they're doing this at Live Oak? And you're like, what? It's this weekend? And if you had a calendar you could go to and check everything.
Well, there's big things coming too, so just so you know, even bigger things coming, and I'm going to have some Budweiser Clydesdale news for you very soon, probably in the next show. So make sure you tune in, because it's big news.
Big news.
Good news, yes. So anyway, check out all these wonderful events we shared with you tonight and all these wonderful organizations. We're so very grateful for them all. We've got to wrap up the show. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital
of the world, or not, happy horsing around.
Until the same time next week.
See ya.